Hi there, this is Mr. Evans. This video is on recruitment. We're looking at this bullet point here, just after human resource flow. So, recruitment is the process of filling a job from identifying that there actually is a vacancy through to appointing a member of staff. And I've listed some of the stages on the recruitment process. You probably don't need to know these inside out, but it's good to have an idea of what the recruitment process involves. So first of all, you need to identify that there actually is a vacancy, okay? The most important thing is that you think, right, we've got a job here that needs doing, and there's nobody doing it at the moment, so let's create a role. And once you've identified that there's a role that needs to be done, a job description and person specification needs to be written that explains exactly in the job description what is going to be involved in that job, what are the daily activities, what are the responsibilities of the post holder, who does the post holder report to, how is their performance in the job going to be monitored and assessed, what are their key performance indicators. And the person specification, what sort of skills do we want this person to have? What experience might they already have? What are they going to bring to the role? And so, really important to get clarity around those things. Then we'll look to advertise the vacancy somehow. That can be done in a variety of ways. And once we've advertised, hopefully we'll start to receive some applications for the job, which we then need to review. And we will shortlist candidates that we think would be the best based on their, however they've applied, usually a CV, covering letter, maybe a form that's being filled in. And so we'd have an idea of, on paper, the strengths and weaknesses of each candidate. We'd invite them in for interview. Maybe they'd go through some sort of test, like in teaching. It's quite common for teachers who are on interview to have to teach a lesson. So there's some kind of assessment to see if they're actually capable of doing the job that they say they're capable of doing on paper. And then if they pass that, then we'll interview them and get to kind of know them personally, follow up on a few things on their application maybe that we're interested in, and if all goes well, that person will be appointed, or someone will be appointed who has gone through this process. So there are two types of recruitment that organisations can engage in. Internal recruitment occurs when candidates for a job role are people who already work for the organisation, so that will lower recruitment costs. It creates promotion opportunities. People are aware that that this organisation lets its own staff go in for roles, which can be motivating. It should be a quicker process, partly because we know the abilities of the candidate, and so therefore there won't be any need for induction training. They already know the business, or at least there'll be a shorter induction process. However, that limits us, if we're doing internal recruitment only for any advertising roles, to people who already work for the job. It's going to reduce the amount of talent available to those people who already work for the company, limiting the number of applicants and the amount of choice we've got. These people already work for the organisation, so to a certain extent they're already contributing their ideas to the organisation. Maybe it would be good to open up to someone outside. And of course, if somebody gets a job and someone else doesn't, not always, but sometimes that might lead to personal disputes, etc. in the workplace. External recruitment occurs when the job is advertised to people from outside the organisation and we invite other people to apply. This will increase the talent available. Hopefully we'll get different people applying. We'll get some people with new ideas who have got expertise from elsewhere. And it's going to increase the number of applicants that we should get. However, there is going to be higher financial costs to this. We've got to advertise externally, which maybe in a paper or on a website, which might cost us money. If someone gets appointed from outside and somebody inside the company thinks that they can do the job, then that again could cause friction, and it's arguable that it's quite easy to put on a good face for a job interview. It's 24. It's an 8-hour day or 2 8-hour days or something. Maybe you can put on a particularly good show or pretend to be something that you might not be, and get a job that way. And the organisation doesn't know you, so they only know what they come across in that time. So, improving the organisation of the recruitment process, really important part of trying to manage the human resources in an organisation. It should basically improve the whole organisational flow. So if we get a better recruitment process, number one, we should get more applicants for each role and therefore a greater choice of candidates. We should get higher calibre recruits. If we've got more people applying, then hopefully just by the sheer amount of numbers, then we should have higher calibre people applying. This is going to reduce our training costs. Once we get people into the organisation, if they're higher quality, better skilled in the first place, we don't have to spend so much money training them. They should be motivated, because if we've got good quality recruitment, we're recruiting people with the right skills to the right job. It's not too easy for them, it's not too difficult, and therefore they should be engaged with work. This should raise labour productivity quickly. There won't be, a long learning process before people get to know the job. And there should be reduced absenteeism and staff turnover. Ultimately, in the long run, we're going to cut future recruitment costs if we get it right first time. If we appoint the right people with the right skills for the right jobs that we need, then ultimately we'll have fewer people leaving and we can save money in the long run. So recruitment, really important part of the human resource flow, getting the right people